your attention please. This is Project Vogon Boaty, bringing you Monday Night Live. Do it like they do it in Connoisseur, you dirty devils. Mr. Ragabati, Mr. George Ragabati, Mr. Ragabati, Mr. George Ragabati. Well, of course it is, George, and a very warm welcome to you and indeed everybody else. Welcome to Monday Night Live, coming direct here from Windy Bottom, directly to your electronic portable device of some nature or other. And it's an absolute joy and pleasure to be with you again. I've missed you very much over the last few nights. Indeed, if you've missed me half as much as I've missed you, then I've missed you, which is, I think you would agree, worth two in the bush. Now then, what have you been up to over the weekend? I want to hear all about it. What have you been eating? I want to know all about that. What's going on? What's the gossip? Talk to me about anything you like tonight. Tonight is going to be an open forum, full of joy and companionship and your wonderful messages to me. Which reminds me, I have a message which arrived earlier today, and I definitely need to read this out to you. Bear with while I fertile the doings. Hang on. Right. Hi, darling. You might want to visit the... No, not that one. Sorry. Ah, here we are. Mr. Boaty, like a good boy, I've been trying not to skip the adverts in your videos. Excellent, we appreciate that. But today, I was catching up on last Monday's live stream and a 4-minute long advert came on. Goodness me. As requested, I left the advert running and I seized the opportunity and ran upstairs to give the missus the pottering of her life. Oh, lucky missus. I came back downstairs afterwards and there were still 2 minutes left. There were still 2 minutes of the bastard advert left. Needless to say, I skipped it. Hope you're well, mate. I'm very well indeed. And thank you for the message. Now, let's see who we have with us on this splendid Monday evening. Jimmy Quinn is with us. The lovely Simon is with us. underscore is of course here. Bad Book, splendid. Simone of Hooked on Classics, wonderful. Chaz Brown is here, that's fabulous. The lovely Mike, Classic Wheels Wales is here. The splendid Liz Jabberwocky 220 GTI has graced us with her presence. Oh God, we're talking about the wine already, are we? Stephen S. Paul has joined us from right across the herring pond, and that is a wonderful thing. Black Lines is here, splendid. Well, what a wonderful gathering. My goodness me, 20 of you are watching, and that's excellent. Now, first things first, cheers. Here's to you, and up yours. Lovely. Very nice indeed. Have you got a little tipple going on? If you have, let me know. And I'm just going to play. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Simone. Indeed. Do please like or consider like. Well, I can't tell you what to do, can I? I can ask you. And I did ask you. So I don't know why you're getting all arsy about it. It's not like I issued you with an instruction with dire threats of what would happen. I said, quite politely and kindly, perhaps you would please consider liking this video in order to help my like to dislike ratio, which took a bit of a battering today after a video kind of went a little bit virally and picked up 2,500 views in about 30 minutes. And as is the nature of these things, a lot of people viewed this video who had no idea who I am, who had no idea who or what Project Nigel is, and who didn't get any of the in-jokes in the content, and therefore pressed the dislike button. Can you imagine? So if you could hit like on this and every single other video that I've ever posted, that would be absolutely fabulous, and I'd love you forever. And if we ever met in real life, I would tickle you until you giggled and leaked slightly. Now then, Ivor Spotty Botty is here, presumably on his smokers. Yeah, it would do, Jimmy. Bless you. Yeah, it's like my last girlfriend said to me, you know, run upstairs and make passionate love to me, and I said, at my age, darling, it's one or the other. Can't do both. Matt is asking what everybody's Pride of Longbridge plans are. And yeah, I fully intend to support that. I'm a big supporter of the Pride movement in Longbridge or in anywhere else. And yeah, I will certainly be, if possible, I will be turning up to show my support for the LGBTQ plus community. You know, oh, I might wear a little black number. Let's see. I hope to go to POL, says Simone. Just a day visit as I'm mostly skint. Well, aren't we all? Liz is off to POL in the V8 with the 260s group. What if we don't like the video, says Simon? Press like anyway, if you would be so very kind. The videos with you and Mustard don't do you any favours, Boaty. None of my videos do me any favours, Skicked, because I'm not very good at them, and I'm a deeply unattractive person with no personality and no charisma. But we all have our crosses to bear, don't we? You know, much like the baby Jesus. He had a cross to bear, didn't he? That's probably where the saying comes from. Carl Davis is with us, and what a splendid thing that is. And the lovely Gareth Williams, who, as you may have seen from a comment, was kind enough to bring me a really, really nice little enamel mug that is going to start a new life in the caravan, and some Tunnocks caramel wafers, which are wonderful things, and I am jolly grateful for them, and it's nice to have you here with us, Gareth. Let's get on with some more messages, shall we? Simon says, sometimes if she's a little bit drunk, my wife will let me do the thing that I really like, but she considers to be both demeaning and quite uncomfortable. But she insists that every time she does let me do it, I have to put a pound in a special jar. Anyway, yesterday I emptied the jar and checked it, and I have £7. So tomorrow I'm going to treat myself to sausage and batter, chips and curry sauce. And good for you, Simon. I don't blame you in the least. There'll be another live tomorrow night. You can let us know how your sausage and batter went down. Black Line says, I thought Pride of Longridge was about Rovers and Triumphs, a car show. So am I now right in thinking it's a gay rights march? I'm very confused. It's nothing to do with cars at all, Black Lines. It's part of the nationwide Pride movement where we all join the pride of the LGBTQ plus community, and they show their pride, we show our support, and I may even show my underpants. But no, absolutely nothing to do with cars at all. Now we've got some dinner news coming in, and Simone is the first cab off the rank there, who says, for dinner I consumed chicken in white sauce with egg fried rice. Very filling. Oh, lovely. Bad Book says, we did the Snowdrop Walk at Walsingham in Norfolk. Beautiful sight and some nice classic cars in the car park. Splendid. Oh, you honestly thought it was a car show? No, definitely nothing to do with cars. But I'll be there, and I hope you will be too. And I think Mustard is coming along as well. So that will be splendid. Matt is letting us know what he got up to at the weekend, and he says he went to a swingers club and it was quite good fun, but he was a little bit disappointed to be charged £5 for a very basic ham sandwich. He says the ham looked very cheap, the kind of wafer thin ham that you get for about 70p in the supermarket like Tesco's or Sainsbury's. And it didn't have mustard on it or anything, it was just ham and butter. And I would agree with you, Matt, that £5 does seem a little bit steep for a basic sandwich like that. But if you're in the middle of a swinging session, I guess you need to eat whatever you can to keep your strength up. And I suppose they've got you as a captive audience, really, because you're not going to want to get dressed and nip out to McDonald's, are you? You might miss the best bit of the action. But nice to hear that you had a good weekend. Oh, Classic Mike, thank you so much. The lovely Mike of Classic Wheels Wales, who's a very nice chap. A very nice chap indeed. I think I mentioned before, we had an excellent phone call last week, and it's lovely to hear somebody with a proper accent, because Mike, although he may be of Greek origin, a fact that he's very proud of, and why shouldn't he be, he is a good South Walian Valleys boy, and his voice and his accent match the part. So it was a joy to speak to him, and he's very kindly sent me a super chat, for which I am exceedingly grateful. Thank you, Mike, and I promise you not a penny of that will be wasted. I shall spend it on wine, which, as we all know, is one of your 5 a day and is jolly good for you. Now then, I thought it was something like Festival of the Unexceptional, but specific to British Leyland stuff. Hey, every day is a learning day. It is indeed, and I'm hoping that there is going to be absolutely nothing unexceptional about Pride of Longridge. I'm looking forward to it very much. Stephen S. Paul had a stick of gum, fair enough. Simone was working again today doing the car deliveries. I didn't know that's what you did, Simone. A Mazda CRX and a Nissan Leaf. Oh, jolly good. £5, says Bad Books, would get you a ham shank in Hartlepool. That sorts the men from the boys. Yeah, I once had a ham shank at a Cockney massage parlour, but if memory serves, it cost me £10 rather than £5. But the chap did give me a kiss for free, which was very nice, although his moustache did tickle me a little bit. In my own news, what have I been up to over the weekend? Well, on Sunday, I took advantage of happy hour Dame Hilda's punishment parlour, and I had a very enjoyable 20-minute session on the automatic buttock beaters, and obviously that's half price during happy hour, and I can honestly say it was £5 very well spent. My buttocks were tingling with just the joy of being alive, really. I did fancy the Bisto rub, but I couldn't quite stretch to that even during happy hour. But do keep your weekend news coming in. I'd love to hear what you've been up to. Right, you collect lease cars to go to auction for Mannheim, Simone. Excellent. KKC might make POL, 10-minute drive for me. Well, no excuse. Iris Boaty, his smokos is over, so he's off, basically. He's back to work. Carl Davis says, I'm really looking forward to Pride of Longwich. Going to be excellent to chat to you all. Oh, a reminder from eBay, how very kind. No point in reminding me about that, eBay, I can't afford it. That is something that I do need to talk to you about though, so remind me. I must plaster Coney with a rainbow flag, Boaty. Well, we should plaster everything with a rainbow flag, really, shouldn't we? And who or what is Coney? Forgive my ignorance. No, just it's not that. Oh, is it a bicycle or a motorized bicycle or? Did you have a happy ending at happy hour? No, I couldn't afford that either, KKC, sadly. I just had the 20 minutes on the automatic buttock beaters and pretty much called it a day at that. I did get a Kit Kat from the vending machine. I haven't had a Kit Kat for ages. So that was a bit of a treat, wasn't it? Oh, Coney is the Rover 75. Why did I think it was called something else? I've got no idea. There are quite a few Rover 75s around amongst the Rover 75 community, and I do tend to get the names a little bit mixed up. Oh dear, talk about talk about faint praise. Project MGTF, your last video was okay. That's yeah, damned with faint praise there. Dear me. Mind you, I'd take that for one of my videos. I dream of my videos being okay. Now then, what else have we got here? Bear with me 1 second. What did I want to talk about? Oh, yes. Now, I'm going to have a series of videos coming up called Bog News. And I thought I'd give you some advanced insight into bog news. Because you people, you are the very special few. And you deserve these little extras. Oh, D Mac is with us and says, hi Boaty, hi D. I always press the like button and hi to everyone in chat. Well, that's jolly good of you. I have a rock in my garden called Dave. Excellent. Jimmy Quinn, thanks. Bug news, yes, bug news. But don't worry, my lovelies. This is not going to be any sort of an exploration of my lavatorial habits or tendencies. I wouldn't subject you to that again. Or would I? Good question. Now then, KKC says, I will get back to bog news. Don't you worry about that. Don't you worry your little heads about that. You will not go unnotified of bog news. In fact, I pledge, here is my pledge, and my duster is just over there. Before the end of this consortium, you will be fully updated on what you can expect from bog news. Mustard's review, says KKC. Mustard's review of the dash cam was good. Petrol Ped reviewed the same one today as well. Looks good kit. And Jimmy Quinn agrees. Mustard's dash cam was brilliant. Right, yeah, I have watched that video. I watched it just before starting this actually, and it does look like a jolly good bit of kit, doesn't it? I think I'll message them and see if I can get them to send me one. We do have some product placement news. The first of the items from a company called King Bolin has arrived, and they've sent me this to test, which is, oh goodness me, electrified nipple clamps. That looks very, very exotic and windswept and interesting. So I'm looking forward to trying those. It's been a while since I've attempted to turbocharge or electrify the old nipples. So there will be a test and review video coming on that particular item very soon, and on at least one following item from that company. So, you know, this is absolutely splendid. The gravy train has started, basically. I've started to climb the greasy pole. People are sending me free stuff. This is just living the dream, isn't it? I have asked for an inflatable Claudia Winkleman with electronic moving parts, and hopefully I'll be sent one of those as well, so that I can do a full test and review video on that one. Oh, hello, the Ken Joji. I never know how I'm supposed to say your name, the Ken Joji. The Ken Joj, the Ken J. I've got absolutely no idea. So either tell me, or I'll just keep guessing, or I'll change it each time for a little bit of fun. You can have great fun changing words like that. For example, when you hear about the Bible endlessly, then I suppose it can become a little wearisome and tiresome. But if you just change the pronunciation to Bibli, it becomes wonderful and a thing of absolute joy. Maxi's 9K. What's Maxi? The KGF Maxi? Well, I've got no idea what's going on there. Mustard said it was good value for money, but then didn't say how much it cost. Well, it didn't cost Mustard anything, did it? So from that point of view, it was bloody amazing value for money. So, yeah. But it genuinely did look a decent bit of kit. I think he said it was about 180 quid, 170, 180 quid, something like that. So a little bit pricier than my own dash cam, which cost me £19.95. But then it does a few more things than my dash cam does. Simone says, how far is Dudley from you, Boaty? City Rover for sale. Oh, is there? Dudley is doable. A bit like Dudley Moore, he was very doable, wasn't he? He was just so cute, wasn't he? I mean, if you were going to go for either Pete or Dud, I think you'd go for Dud. Pete would be quite intimidating, both with his intellect, his cutting wit, and his general size and demeanour, whereas Dud just looks lovely and cuddly and up for a laugh. But yeah, Dudley's doable. Do you know? Here's a question for you. When you were a kid, where was your first day out of the year, if you had a regular first day out? Because when I was a kid, our first day out of the year was always Dudley's Zoo. I don't know why it was always Dudley Zoo, but it was tradition. It always was Dudley Zoo. And there are three things that I think I remember from Dudley Zoo. One is that there was a chairlift, and I am obsessional over chairlifts. I can't begin to tell you how excited I get by chairlifts. I'm very fortunate to live near one of the finest examples in the country, which is in Matlock Bath at Gulliver's Kingdom. And that is probably my favourite chairlift. But I do remember the Dudley Zoo chairlift very well. And after my childhood, I believe that the chairlift was taken out of commission for a period of some years, and then it was recommissioned and painted yellow, and it was relaunched with Keith Harris and Orville, and you know, life doesn't get all that much better than that. The other two things I remember about Dudley Zoo, one was that it had dodgem cars, but they were the type of dodgems cars that if you whizzed the steering wheel all the way round, it would go in reverse at the same speed. And I used to take great pleasure in doing the whole dodgem car thing backwards in reverse and showing off my incredible skills. I really was an awfully good dodgem car driver, if I do say so myself. And the third thing I remember was that as a child, I refused to eat baked beans. No way would I, wasn't happening. I would not eat baked beans. And that must have been a considerable source of frustration to my mother, whose responsibility was to feed me. Because baked beans are a jolly good source of fibre and protein and stomach filler-uppering for a child at a very reasonable price. Especially if you go for the cheaper ones. Which is your favourite brand of baked beans? Which do you go for? Are you a supermarket owned brand? Are you a relatively budget type of person with, I don't know, maybe Branston baked beans? Or are you brand loyal to Heinz? I'm not sure what I've got at the moment. I'll have a look. Well, now, this is interesting, and this will tell you something about me. I have one tin of baked beans in stock, and they are the Sainsbury's baked beans. Now, let me tell you, I've told you before, but let me tell you what my problem is with Heinz baked beans. Heinz do not taper the bottom of their tins. If you look at that, it's tapered, right? So that means they will locate on top of each other and you can stack them. Heinz do not taper their tins, so you can't stack them properly. And that is enough to put me off them. Although, what I would often do is I would have a baked bean tower, and I would have the Heinz baked beans at the bottom, because they're the good ones, the expensive ones, so they're for me. And then I would pile cheaper baked beans on top with the tapered bit, and they would be for whoever was living with me at the time, or guests. You know, if you've got kids in the house, they're going to go for the baked beans that are easiest to grab hold of. They'll go for the ones on top, which means that my expensive Heinz ones are safe at the bottom. So there's a good tip for you if you live with children or greedy housemates, or a spouse who has proven themselves capable of stealing your baked beans, or who you suspect might become capable of stealing your baked beans. But the whole point is, and I'm glad you asked, as a child, I would not eat baked beans until one day, the first visit of the year, and we never went again. We only went once per year, and it was always the first place we went to, first day out of the year. And one day, we went to the cafeteria at Dudley Zoo, which I think was up at the top of the hill, in or near the castle. Don't quote me on that, because I might be wrong. And who was in there eating but, wait for it, I promise you this is true, Brian Jacks. Now, who knows who Brian Jacks was, right? I'm going to ask that question, I'm going to catch up with some comments, and then we'll see if anybody's answered it by the time I've whizzed through these. So, but Dudley is quite easily gettable too for me, Simone. So if there's a City Rover for sale, send me the link or something, love, would you mind? And we'll check it out, and then I'll just have to blag some company or other into paying for the bloody thing, because that is a project that I really want to get on the go. How did the 24-hour live go, Boaty, says D-Mac. It was hilarious, it was really funny. I can take no credit for the 24-hour live. It was all these guys. They kept it going. Matt in particular putting in a marathon session and staying up through the night until 7 o'clock, carrying the baton until one of the early morning breakfast crew came and relieved him of duties. But it was good fun and a good experiment. Annoyingly, you can't see it because although it's showing exactly the same as all the other live streams, it's not available to be viewed after the event. And I don't know why there's nothing obvious showing. I presume it's just too long. But I have been asked if I'm going to do it again, and the answer is no. I'm not going to do a 24-hour live again. The next long live I do is going to be 1 week. You heard it here first, or second, or third. Or maybe you didn't hear it at all if you're not listening. You might be, I don't know, upstairs, having a shower, having a poo, doing the gardening in the dark. I don't know. I can't be responsible for you not hearing things. So, don't come complaining to me. How about community meetups to diagnose issues? That's quite a good idea, yeah. We could discuss our bowel movements. We could talk about mental health. If we've got any unsightly rashes, we could compare them. And if anybody's had any good cures for things, we could share those, I suppose. Those of us who are male and of a certain age could talk about the onset of alcohol-induced dementia or erectile dysfunction or whatever else beastly thing is about to plague us. So yeah, I'd be all in favour of that. It's hard to explain, says Ken whatever. Ken J. Well, anyway, he says it's hard to explain, so there we are. Boaty would have to drive through Wolverhampton, so it's a non-start. I don't mind driving through Wolverhampton. It's pausing there I object to. Shall I have a piece of toast, says Carl Davis. I had steak kebab for my tea. If you want a piece of toast, mate, you have a piece of toast. None of us here will judge you. Bug news from Bad Book's house is my dearest dog has chewed the bug overflow pipe back to the wall, and the dearest plumber has glued the internal pipes. So not easy fix, oh dear. Simone's gone somewhere, but she will be right back, so that's jolly good. Have you ever been on the chairlift at the Needles on the Isle of Wight? I did when the wind was high. Sphincter ratio was 10. Well, Carl, I have, but it was when I was a very small child. I think I was probably 3 or 4. And the only vague memory I have is that from memory, I was sitting on like one bar with one bar at my back and a bar for my feet. And 1 minute we were like 3 feet above the ground. And the next minute we'd gone off a cliff and we were about 6 miles up in the air. And it was absolutely bloody terrifying. Simon says, I shut myself on the Dotton cars as a child and had to be rescued from the middle of the area bit. Oh, well, that's very unfortunate, Simon. Quite a traumatic incident there. But you seem to be okay now, so that's good. Chaz Brown goes for Aldi Beans, doesn't like Heinz, and also adds that Branston are back. Oh, Captain Mustard is here and says, big bollocks to everyone who wants them and death to all infidels and non-believers. Oh, you're still on about that? Mustard was on a bit of a funny one today. He was in a bit of a funny mood. I think he's been reading books or something. The old entrance to Dudley Zoo, says KKC, Douglai is closed but remains as Art Deco. The tram passes it. Tram? Tram? What tram? Are there trams in Dudley now? What fuckery is this? I need to go back there if there are trams. I enjoy trams. I love a tram. But I've actually been on very few. I have been on the one in Manchester when I went to pick up Brian Johnston, and that was absolutely marvellous. I mean, you had fun in two ways. You had the fun of it going around the town, but then this particular tram goes right out into the sticks and it goes like the bloody clappers. It's wonderful. Although the drugged up teenagers are less of a joy. Liz opts for Branston beans. Simon says Hein's issue is so true. He's talking about the tapered bottom. Simon, like me, is a man who recognises and respects a tapered bottom, much like your own Simon. Simon, if you ever meet him, you will discover that he has a very tapered bottom. He's a very tapered man. And I mean that in the nicest possible way. Oh, we're saying hello to Mustard. Hello, Mustard. Hello, Paul. Which sausages and beans are best? Branston are good. Well, none of them KKC, because none of them are real sausages, are they? They're not even real hot dog sausages. They're the fakey ones. And I don't really know what sausage and beans are good for. Are they good for anything? What is your view on tinned sausages and beans? Project Nigel, that's the good Captain Mustard, says, hello Liz, Simon and Mike. God is great. God is great. Well, he is indeed, Mustard, and I'm sure he appreciates your shout out. We have a hidden comment and I will unhidden it. My favourite Derek and Clive line was up on a charge of fucking a fireplace. Yeah, I remember that. Dunn's Store's baked beans are good. Now then, D-Mac, you've made me remember something. Dunn's Stores, that's an Irish thing, isn't it? It is, I'm sure it is. I remember going to Dunn's when we were visiting my mother-in-law and other family in Dundalk. And yeah, I'm sure we went into a Dunn's there. Correct me if I am wrong. KKC says, Brian Jacks was judo. He was, but that's not why he was a hero of mine. Simon has got a message held for review. Who was in there eating butt? Oh, okay. Seasons in the Sun, says Mike. No, that was Terry Jacks, not Brian Jacks. Different Jacks, dear boy, different Jacks. Brian Jacks, says Carl Davis, like a shit Daley Thompson. Well, that's quite damning, isn't it? I mean, you know, compared to Daley Thompson, everybody's a shit Daley Thompson. But Brian Jacks was a hero of mine. Why? That is the question. Somebody will know. John Marizzi. Ah, yes, superstars. He knows. Keegan on and off his bike. Yeah. Brian, I used to watch Superstars when I was a child. And, of course, Brian Jacks was like unbeaten or something at Superstars. Although, didn't Daley Thompson go on in the end? And I'm sure I'm right in this. Do you remember the thing at the end of the assault course bit? And there was a wall with a knotted rope and you had to jump as high up on the rope as you could and haul yourself up. And if I remember correctly, Daley Thompson just jumped straight onto the top of the wall. But yeah, I can tell you the Brian Jacks story now. Are there any more references to it? So yeah, oh, judo, says Jimmy Quinn. I met Brian Jacks. Yeah, so he was the superstar at Superstars, and I was very impressed with him when I was a child. So when I saw him eating his baked beans, because he had sausage, chips and baked beans at Dudley Zoo in the cafeteria, and when I saw him eating baked beans, I said to my mother, I want sausage, chips and baked beans like Brian Jacks. And from that day on, I have fully enjoyed a baked bean. So that's absolutely splendid. And that is my Brian Jacks story. Simon says, so Project Nigel, you're organising a stand in the next big gay pride festival in Longbridge. He is indeed. He's on form tonight, says Matt, but we'll get the last laugh when he gets his frozen wine out. You will indeed. Simone is back and her belly hurts. Oh dear. Troublesome poo. We've all been there. And so we're welcoming her back. Mustard says, Simon, yes, that's exactly what I am doing, and death to all non-believers. Well, let's, let's ease up on the old non-believers a bit, shall we? I don't mind a non-believer, each to their own, that's what I say. A brick called Wilfred, yes, indeed. Oh dear, ulcer, oh gosh, oh, that's bad news. And Simone says, my bottom is not tapered. Well, part of it will be. That's how one produces a stool. And the end is created tapered in order to ease the exit. But we don't need to talk about these sort of things, do we? The tram runs from Wolverhampton to Brum, extending to 5 Ways and Merry Hill. Good Lord. Well, what a thing. There never used to be a tram there. 5 Ways, God, I remember 5 Ways. 5 Ways used to be a station on the Longbridge line, which of course, it did go to Longbridge, but it went beyond Longbridge, and then at Barnt Green it forked off. And I'm not being rude, it forked off. To the right it headed towards Worcester Way, and then if you carried on, it took you to Redditch, which is where the terminus was, but it didn't used to be. Before Dr. Beaton did his thing, the train went on from Redditch through a tunnel down to Sambourne, and I think it went on to Evesham. I think I'm right in saying. But there we are. 5 Ways was a splendid thing. Oh, I'm right. It was Dundalk. Excellent. Yeah, I remember Duns. I remember it. Big old store with a bit of everything in there. Yeah, big old place. But I loved Dundalk. It was lovely. Within reach of lots of things. I used to love going to Black Rocks of an evening. There was a rather splendid Chinese restaurant there. And there's the Magic Road near Dundalk, isn't there? One of those optical illusions where your car will roll uphill. And I used to like going over the border to the mountains of Mourne. My hero, Bruce Pennell, was on Superstars. Most of you won't know who he was. Well, I certainly don't. Dinosaur Dad is with us and says hi, and we say hi to him. I think, says Chaz Brown, the sausages that come in a can with beans are made of some strange synthetic material developed by NASA to last for 2 decades on shop shelves. Well, you might well be right. The beans for 25 cents in Tesco are horrible, but the 45-cent beans are lovely. Mustard says, Boaty was eating eggs washed down with yogurt at mine today. The sight of that made me want to spank his bare bottom with a limp radish. Mustard, are you feeling okay? I'm a bit worried about you today. I really am. Your bum is tapered to stop it closing with a bang. Well, that's what a fart is, isn't it? When your bum opens and closes really quickly, your bum does that. And if you speed that up, that's what a fart sounds like. I might test that with a video. I might do a video of me clapping and keep speeding it up until it sounds like a fart. That'll be something to do, won't it? Blackline says, I am at a time of life when I'm thinking more and more about faith, theology, spirituality. Not something that was really part of my life or upbringing, to be honest, but I like philosophies. Well, yeah, I think that is something that comes with age. You think a little more deeply. You get an increasing sense of mortality, of course, of your own mortality and that of those around you. And I suppose you try and make sense of it a little bit more, don't you? And wonder what it's all about. Now, there's another question for you all. Really? What's it all about? And are you a spiritual person? Are you a religious person? I'm happy to talk about religion. I, of course, am a minister of the church. As indeed is Liz. We are now fellow ministers of the same church. And I would recommend it because whilst all deities are created equally in another sense, ours is the best. And we've got a really cool heaven with beer fountains and stripper factories. And you all get in there. There's none of this going to hell business. You know, as long as you're basically relatively okay, you'll get in. We don't care if you're gay or, well, you know, as long as you're decent people, then, you know, we couldn't give a flying fart. And what you get up to in your own time and goes on between consenting adults is nothing to do with us. If there is a long bridge, say Simone, and I can confirm there is, where is the short bridge? I think it's in Telford, isn't it? It was built by, gosh, I'm trying to remember now. It was built by Charles Dickens, that's right. It was built by Charles Dickens and it sparked the beginning of the Iron Age. And that's why Telford is called Telford, because it was named after Charles Dickens, whose middle name is Telford. The train still terminates at Redditch, but is electrified and loops through Bromsgrove on the Worcester line. Does it? Didn't used to. I've been on it since it was electrified because obviously my dad passed away a few years ago, but he lived in Redditch and I delivered a car down to him and got the train back, and I was very impressed that it was this whizzing fast electrified thing rather than the old diesel clugger that I used to go to Birmingham on when I was a kid. Yeah, it was very impressive, but it didn't used to terminate at Redditch. It used to carry on through. Gosh, it's all changed now, of course, since I was a kid. And the number 57 and 58 bus on the old what was it called? I don't know. The bus route round. What was it called? The Matchborough Circular or something. I can't remember for the life of me. Although I did used to train. I used to do speed training by sitting behind the buses doing 40 or 50 miles an hour, much to the consternation of the bus drivers. They didn't used to like me doing that. You could, says Blacklines, describe me as a non-believer who hopes he's very wrong. Yeah, I understand that. I understand that. Oh, this is interesting. D Max says, that's where I know you from, Dundalk, Boaty. Did we meet? Do we know each other? Were we related through my wife? That'd be, oh, let me know. Now, I'm trying to think of the family name. Oh God, what was my wife's maiden name? Kankar. And Mummy's name was Anne. I can't remember her maiden name versus her married name, but her name was Anne. She was big in the local. She was quite well known locally, and she lived in this amazing tumble down little cottage, and I can't remember what it's called. Kind of on the outskirts of Dundalk. Oh, we should talk about this. I'd love to have a connection back there. Bruce Pennell was World Speedway champion who went to Hollywood and starred in Chips. Oh, fair play. I had Brian Jack Superstars on the Commodore 64. Beat 8-bit computer, hands down. What happened to the toast rack trend? Sorry, I've just read a hidden comment. And it's from Captain Mustard, who impressively is being very, very honest. And I'm going to read this out because I admire his honesty and I'm not ashamed. But he says, Boaty and I enjoyed a hug today, which we did. We did actually. We got all tactile. Unfortunately, it gave me an erection. It did. It did give him an erection, quite a large one actually, which made for a slightly awkward moment. But you know, when these things happen between friends, it can just be brushed off, can't it? And I don't mean literally. I didn't brush him off in any sense. If anything, to be honest with you, I was really kind of flattered. But yeah, so in a sense, our relationship has moved on to the next level. I wasn't going to mention that, but as he did, there we are. I'm happy to put it out there. Went the same way as Corpse Swap. A brick called Wilfred. I loved that video. I absolutely loved that video. I keep watching it. It's only short. And every time I watch it, I find it a little bit funnier. Oh, Mike's off. Good night, Mike. You take care of yourself, mate. And thanks again for the super chat. Really appreciate it, buddy. Let's catch up. Let's catch up soon, mate. And I need to come home to Wales. I need to go to Wales. I need to have a Monday road trip to Wales. I'll wait until the light gets better, after the clocks go back. I was thinking about this today, planning it in my mind what I wanted to do, because there are some things I want to show you. Some of you will know them already, but some of you won't, and they're very special to me, and I want to share them with you. Now, there's a hill called the Penrhw. It's quite a frightening thing to drive up. It's incredibly steep. It's steeper than 1 in 3 on the inside of the hairpin bends, and it climbs from the valley floor up onto the top of the Brecon Beacons, and it's our family hill. We used to own that land, the family did, and it's where all of the meaningful side of my family are scattered, and it's probably where I will end up being scattered if anybody can be asked to take me. But that's a very special spot for me. If any of you bother watching the incredibly long introduction to my videos, which I know is too long, and I know it should be shorter, and I know it will put a lot of people off, but I don't care. I really like it. But the picture of the Rover 75, Sir Arthur, that is taken at the little parking spot at the top of the Penrhw. So I want to show you that. And then I want you to share the drive down into Pontefract, and I want to show you my village. I want to show you my my cottage, which is still there, although it's in a state of total disrepair now, or it certainly was when I was there a year or so ago with Chinese Madam. And as I think I told you, Chinese Madam wanted to buy it back and rebuild it. It's certainly something I'd do if I ever won the lottery. I bitterly regret selling it, but there you go. I suppose it was the right thing to do at the time, and you can only do what's right at the time and hope for the best, can't you? So I want to show you all of that. I would love to meet up with Mike, who's not a million miles away from there. Mike's in Newport. I'd love to meet up with Dan's Bangers and anybody else who's in that neck of the woods. And then I would stay the night either near Glynneath, or maybe have a night in the city and stay in Swansea, see the sights, see Swansea Bay, enjoy some old times, and then probably drive back you see, driving there, I drive down the, we'd do the boarding bit, we'd do the M1 and the M6 and the M5, and then we'd fork off. What do you mean, how old I am? Why do you want to know that, cheeky? That's a Twitter thing, it's nothing to do with this. It's probably nothing to do with me. Twitter keeps showing me random things that I'm really not interested in at all. And I think I sent a snotty tweet to Miss Hubnut last night, but I was drunk and I can't remember if I sent it or not. hopefully I didn't, because I took issue with something that she tweeted. I did. I took issue with it, and I may have replied to it. I've got no idea if I actually did or not. I know I thought about it, and I know I started typing it. But then I think I went to bed, and I can't remember if I sent it or not. And I'm too frightened to look in case I did something else as well under the influence of a bottle of wine. Oh dear. It's no good being overly tired and pouring a bottle of wine into yourself. You do things. Yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, so down the M5 and then off onto the M50, which is my favourite motorway. I love the M50. Underneath the proper Rainbow Bridge, which that used to be a massive thing when I was a child, seeing the Rainbow Bridge. And then up the new road by Abergavenny, and then across the heads of the valleys. And then, but I might come off the heads and take you down the old road, down Recos Bank. That's got a lot of... Oh no, I wouldn't. What am I talking about? We wouldn't go that way, would we? No, we'd head off... and yeah, to the bottom of the 8 miler, and then we'd do a right at Llan... God, I can't remember what it's called. No, I can't remember. We'd turn right and meander our way to the Rue, wouldn't we? Yeah. And then we'd drop down through, I'd take you down through Astrevecta and down into, well, Pontyfawn is the anglicised way of saying it, and then into Glynneath. But after the night in Swansea, we'd come back a different way, and I would resurrect Boaty's bridges, and we'd go over the new Severn Bridge crossing, because that's one of the ultimate bridges, I suppose, isn't it, in the UK? Be good to add that to the list. And I haven't done a Boaty's bridge for ages, and I know what I'm doing a little bit more now, so I'd make a better job of it. And then we'd have the boring slog up the old M5, but you know, there are memories there. I used to commute the M5 on a daily basis when we were living in Exeter and the showrooms were in Brum. But we could stop at that really nice motorway services with all of the farm shop type stuff. So that would be a trip that I'd love to do. It will happen this year sometime. Yeah, so Mike has Mike's gone for the night, but it's sensible. What happened to Radio 1, Boaty? Asked Skick. I've got no idea. I've never listened to it. I presume it's still there. Coffin maker strike has held up funerals, whether you're a believer or not. Is that true? Good God. Oh, we went to Blackrock, says D-Mac. Blackrock is lovely, yeah. Yes, he did. Mustard did indeed. Election? You won't need Viagra in the caravan of dreams. Ah, so the 1.8k views, were you watching it, Boaty? 2.6k views, Simon. 2.6. And counting. Although it all happened in about 40 minutes and it's just picking up the normal 1 or 2 views per day now, much like most of the others. Oh dear, hope the lightsabers didn't strike each other. Oh, we could have a trip to Wales, says Mustard, if we can find a car there. I'm sure we could. I'm sure Mike would help us in that regard. So we could go down in 1 car and come back in 2. That would be fun. Who else goes to the shops and puts Boaty's YouTube video on the in-store devices? Do you do that? Oh God, that would be brilliant. I've got an itchy back. I've got an itchy back and I need to maneuver myself in order to scratch it. This is not an itch that can be ignored. That is a brilliant, fucking hell. That I need a back scratching. Oh, here's my hairbrush. Hold on, excuse me. It's not professional. Oh, oh, that's it. Oh, that's, oh, This is when you need a partner, isn't it? When you've got that bit of your back that you can't reach and it wants scratching. Ugh. Oh no. Do you ever get one of those itches and when you scratch it you just itch more, itch in a slightly different place? There's probably a medical reason for it. I love that idea. I love the idea of going into shops and putting my YouTube videos on all of the devices. I would dearly love you all to do that. That would be absolutely brilliant. And the worst video that you can find, one of me on the bog or something like that. Put those on all over Dixon's. Oh God, that would be fabulous. A brick called Wilfred. I should play that in the background, shouldn't I? Oh dear. GPS OMG is with us, and that's a thing of enormous joy. Mr. Boaty Bumrash, how the devil are you? I'm filled with splendidness, which I've had, which feels as if it's been specially fluffed just for this occasion. Thank you for asking, GPS, and I hope you are well. Stephen S. Paul says, outside of Philadelphia, there is an area known as North Wales. Lots of Welsh and expat Brits, etc. Oh, I didn't know that. I do know that there is an area in Patagonia that is exclusively Welsh speaking, and that's a really interesting thing. I hate twatter, says Simone. Wine. I've frozen my wine. I've done it. I can't be trusted. I've frozen my wine. Dear. I've got a small wine turd. Let's see if we can eject that. Here it comes. Oh God, the suspense. Oh, come on. Let's, bloody hell. There we are. You see, everything's recoverable. You just have to be, like a mudflat, flexible and willing to travel. Oh God, I could tell you a story about that. I got myself into so much trouble, but I can't. I'll tell you if we ever meet privately. If I put it on YouTube, I'd actually be locked up. If you sent Miss Hubnut a tweet, you will have Ian on the blower. Well, dear, will I? I genuinely took offence. Shall I tell you about it? I'll tell you about it. Okay. If you follow Miss Hubnut on Twitter, then you may have seen it. I don't think I follow anybody. But Twitter just send me, like, what do you call them? Alerts to people that some bot in Twitter thinks I'd be interested in. And no offense to people, I'm just not really interested in Twitter. I've got accounts on there, but I very seldom use them. I just can't get into it. I've always been a Facebook man. I think it's because I'm parasological by nature. If you're not familiar with that term, it means excessively verbose. And I always found the constricted format of Twitter just impossible for me, entirely out of my comfort zone. I like to ramble on Facebook for several hours. But now, of course, I've got this wonderful way of boring people almost to death. But anyway, Miss Hubnut, I think she retweeted a twat of somebody else. Winchester Restorations or Classics or something like that. And it was lambasting. Yeah, and it was, I'll tell you what it was a screenshot of a YouTube comment. And she said, this is the worst sort of troll. Something about, people, keyboard warriors sitting behind the keyboards. But this is somebody that Ian has actually met and enjoyed tea with. The idea being that somebody was really lovely face to face and then this awful troll behind their back. But what the comment actually said was, I'm really and I can't quote it exactly. I'm amazed I can bloody remember it at all, considering it was awfully late and wine had been consumed when I read it. But The comment was something along the lines of, I'm really sorry, but I'm having to fast forward some of the content of your videos. This isn't aimed at Miss Hubner, it was aimed at the Winhampton Classics or whatever the hell it was. He said, yeah, I'm really sorry, but I'm having to fast forward some of your content. I find now that there is too much coverage of, can't remember the name, but their child, basically. And then it sort of went on a little bit, sort of saying, look, you know, most of us have had a child of that age, or you know, have been around them, and we kind of don't need to see that much. I would prefer just more concentration on the cars and the restoration work. Now, to me, that is mild criticism. That's not trolling. That's not trolling. That's not unpleasant. It's a mild criticism, or somebody expressing a personal preference or a personal opinion on a video. And, you know, if you put videos out there on YouTube, then effectively you are, to some extent, you're inviting critique or response, aren't you? And to me, that is not a bad response. It's certainly not trolling. And it just struck me as a bit mountain and molehilly, do you know what I mean? Because I have had experience with a genuine troll. Now, I'll tell you, I think I've mentioned it before. It happened as a result of singles and somebody that I had to remove from the network, and they were not happy about it. And there's somebody who's on some sort of spectrum or other, and they became fixated with me, and they started properly trolling me. Not, you know, not one single comment on a YouTube video, not that I did YouTube back then, but not one single comment like that with a mild critique. No, this is, he went through everything, absolutely everything. Slating me, making up things about me, going through my the Facebook page, going through this, going through that, going through, you know, and leaving the most vile stuff everywhere possible. Outrageous stuff on his own Facebook wall, and then he started telephoning me, and he would call literally every 5 minutes throughout the night and the day. So, you know, imagine that your phone is going off every 5 minutes when other people might be trying to get through, and most of the time he would just ring a few times and stop. Sometimes he would leave the most appalling, threatening voicemail messages, and this went on for months and months and months and months and months. I know I've mentioned it before. I was trying to find the guy. I wanted to deal with it myself, and I was trying to find him, and I couldn't for the life of me. And in the end, Chinese Madam was due to move in here, and I thought, well, I can't have this, so I had to get the police involved. And you know, the police eventually put a stop to it. But my point is that is trolling, and I didn't consider the thing that Miss Hubner had retweeted. And they were all getting on the bandwagon saying, oh, it's dreadful, oh, it's awful, how do people think it's okay to do that? And I'm thinking, bollocks, don't blow it up, don't play the victim, don't, not all of that crap. That sort of thing should just be, and that's the problem with, fucking hell, I'm itching again. That's the problem with the internet and social media. People can blow things up out of all bloody proportion. So I was going to send a snotty tweet, not really that snotty, and I may have sent it, I don't know. But it was just going to be along the lines of, as somebody who has been genuinely and seriously trolled, involving threats, incredible personal disruption, police and the prosecution, I would suggest that this, in fact, is a mild critique or indication of personal preference, and really shouldn't be blown up in the way that you are. And I may have sent that, or I may not have, and I may have just gone to bed. So I don't know, but there we are. there we are, there we are, there we are. But I haven't had Ian on the blower. I've never had any contact with, well, I've had very limited contact with Ian. I've certainly not had any personal contact. We're friends on Facebook, and that's about it. So I very much doubt he has my telephone number, or could be asked to find it. If that was a reference going way back to a video that Mustard and I did, where I briefly mentioned and then couldn't talk about it anymore, somebody being upset and contacting us, it wasn't Hubner, wasn't Ian. Say no more, can't say any more, said too much already. The new Severn Bridge made me feel sick. I've got a thing about bridges now. I think it's an age thing. Never used to bother me. Heights never used to bother me. And as I've got older, they kind of do a bit. And I get wobbly going over bridges now. I've coped okay with the Severn Bridge the last few times I've been over it. The one that really got me, and I mean really got me, was the Humber Bridge. When I did that, and I did a video on it. Now, you probably won't tell from the video, I was shitting myself. I was absolutely shitting myself. I don't know why. I think it's something to do with the fact that it's got a very low edge to it. And although you're not going to, you do get the feeling that if you sneezed and threw the wheel, you could just dive off the side of the bridge. I know it's got the highest suicide rate of any other spot in the UK because it's got this really low side. So it's really easy to jump off. But I had a proper panic attack going over there. The full thing, the chest tightening, the shortness of breath, and I really had to, I could have easily freaked out then. It was a bloody relief to get over the other side, I tell you, which came as a shock because, you know, stuff like that's never bothered me. And I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. I was vaguely ashamed of myself, to be absolutely honest. But hey ho, I think it's just a natural thing that comes with aging. You become less immortal as you get older, and you realise that when you're up high, the ground is a long way down and it's very hard. It's like the last time I rode a bike. I thought, bloody hell, it's a long way down onto that concrete road and it looks awfully hard. And you know, this is coming from a guy that was clocked by the police doing 74 miles an hour down British Camp at Malvern, overtaking 2 lanes of traffic down the middle of the road because I'd been dropped going up the backside of British Camp, and I was desperately trying to get back on. And the police I didn't even know the police were chasing me. They caught me down in Malvern Link where we'd all stopped to buy a Mars bar. Then, do you know how fast you were going? I said, yeah, I've got a computer on it. Oh, that's impressive, isn't it? And you're not wearing a helmet. I said, yeah, I know. There we are. Oh, no George Roger Boaty this evening. I think he was in first thing, Bad Books. He's probably found something better to do. He's probably trying to stop G's from humping the housekeeper. Oh, Simon's off and says, good night, catch you later. KKC says, I don't use any social media. I don't trust myself. I shouldn't either, KKC. I occasionally get myself into trouble. Which they were all saying. Apparently, says Matt, they did mud flaps for the Streetwise. I think I need them and the headlight grills. Yeah. If you read my little book that one of you very kindly gave me and that I'm loving, I've read every single word of it. It's my go-to toilet book. It's my first belch of the live stream. Thank you. Thank you. And there's number 2. Splendid. Yeah, there's a picture showing. Honestly. There's a picture showing some of the accessories that are available for the Streetwise. A Brit called Wilfred. Thank you, T-Mac. Oh, dear me. Westland Restorations, or Whiteland. Yeah, that's the one. Whatever you do, don't cross Ian. He's got a black belt in Bangonomics. I've got a black belt too, but I'm not wearing it today. I've got the brown one on. I don't watch Whiteland anymore. Brilliant car restorers, but the video go off topic. I have others I would rather watch. Well, you know, that's fair enough. And, you know, a number of people said in the replies to the tweet, you know, you can just go and watch something else. But it's back to what we were talking about before. We were talking about this the other night, weren't we? Now, okay, if you've got followers and they've helped you to become what you are, do you have a duty, any form of duty towards them? We discussed this. I would feel that, I'm not saying that everybody has, I'm saying that I would feel as if I would, right? Now, if somebody felt that my content was going in a direction they weren't so keen on, would I want them to just stop watching, or would I want them to tell me? I think I would want them to tell me. I think I would welcome it. And I think I would take it on board, because I would think, well, if that's what one of my loyal followers thinks, I wonder if other people think it as well. And I might ask them, I might mention it. Now, I might ultimately choose to carry on going the way that I'm going. I've never watched these people. I've got no idea who they are. I've got no idea what they do, but from what I could glean from the comments, they've got a young family, they're a family business, and if they've got a new, whatever it is, whether it's a new baby or whatever, they're including that in the videos. It's exactly what we were talking about the other night. You know, like Ian including the Miss Hubner and the Hublets and the Hubmuts and whatever other hubbing things they've got going on. And so, yeah, I suppose it's natural. But to be honest, if a loyal follower expresses that opinion and tells you that they're actually skipping your video, I don't think that they deserve to be hung up by the balls on social media and hung out to dry. And I think it was a little bit out of order, and I intended to send a tweet saying so, and I've got no idea if I did or not. I follow you. I do follow you, Mustard. Of course I do. Yeah, I mean, you've got to follow your BFF, haven't you? And if you didn't know, that's best flipping friend. I follow very few people, and it's meaningless whether I follow you or not, because I don't look. And the same goes for Instagram. It's not a platform that I use regularly. I don't habituate it, and I neither look nor post on them terribly often. And that's kind of a self-perpetuating prophecy. Because I don't use them very often, I don't have much of a following on there. So when I do post something, I don't get any response. And that makes me think, well, I won't bother posting on there again. But the reason I don't get a response is because I don't work it. It just doesn't, I don't know. Facebook was kind of enough for me. I don't know when Twitter and Insta and all of these things came along, but, you know, I was doing so much other stuff on Facebook, the Scrabble, the community stuff. I didn't really have space in my life to share all of that across Twitter and Instagram and everything else. I used to get grief, especially in singles, for putting food pics on Facebook, because apparently they should go on Instagram. But Facebook felt like a natural fit for me, and in many ways still does. I don't spend as much time on Facebook as I used to, but I still enjoy it very much, and I love what our little community on Facebook is becoming. Oh, hello, Simone's off to the land of Nod. Jolly good night, Simone. The comments I don't like are those that don't appreciate that most YouTubers do it for very little and don't have access to professional filming setups. That's from KKC, and yeah, that is a valid point. I don't know at what point you would have to get to where you could actually make a living from YouTube, but what I can tell you is that the stage that I am at now, YouTube costs me money. And, you know, I don't do much. God knows I don't do much. And I don't spend, you know, I hardly spend anything on equipment. As you know, I film on mostly on a very elderly iPhone 6. That's what I'm using at the moment. I've bought a couple of car mounts. I've bought a couple of cheap tripods and a cheap microphone that's, you know, probably all told, what, 50 quid all told, and that's 50 quid more than I've earned from YouTube. And you know, things like you know, you go out and do some filming, you're using petrol and stuff like that, and of course you're giving a lot of your time that could be more profitably spent somewhere else. So, you know, I think for the majority of people, I assume for the majority of people, it's kind of a labour of love. It's a hobby. So yeah, it's probably a bit unfair to lambast people for their lack of quality, because people aren't setting out to be bloody Arthur C. Clarke or what's his name, who did Duel. What's his name? Who did Duel? The famous guy who went on to do lots of other things. Spielberg. Yeah, we're not setting out to be Steven Spielberg, are we? We're just, it's like the modern day equivalent of putting a slideshow on for your family and friends, isn't it? When you're not a professional photographer. You know, I suppose as you progress, then for your own sense of pride or whatever it happens to be, I suppose you try and improve, and maybe you invest in better equipment. But you certainly do it for very little or nothing at all, or more likely it costs you money. I don't see me actually earning anything per se from YouTube, as in more than breaking even. I don't see that happening for a while. And even when you get much bigger than I am now, then you really are talking pennies, and certainly the cost of whatever you do is probably going to exceed that. Yeah, depends how you do it to a certain extent. I know from watching Joseph Lloyd's videos, he was employing a filmographer, or whatever you call them, and an editor for some of his reviews, the ones that he calls the tweed jacket reviews. And that must have cost him a bloody fortune, certainly a damn sight more than the videos would have earned, because you really do earn pennies in advertising revenue. I mean, I've told you how I'm expecting my first payday anytime between the 21st and the 26th, somewhere around there. And it's a very, very small amount of money, believe me. So there we are. Hubnut went downhill when he got an assistant. What happened to Hubnut's assistant? What happened to that guy that was doing stuff with him? He was there for about 2 videos and then he just disappeared. Or did I miss it? Because from what I saw, he was just never mentioned again. What happened? What happened? Did Hubnut eat him or something? Did he? Is he buried underneath Hubnut's garage? Anybody know? A brick called Wilfred. Some people have thin skin. They need to toughen up and don't take it to heart. If I give you grief, you just give me a sarcastic reply, which is awesome. Yes, that's pretty much what I do. You can't, you know, I get that some people are going to take it terribly, terribly personally, but, you know, you've got to keep some perspective. And like I say, I stand by my original thought that what was mentioned in that tweet, that's not trolling, it's not offensive, it's not, you know, it's nothing that deserves that level of, oh my God. You know, there's no oh my God there, it's just, oh, okay, fair enough. I'll take that on board or I won't. But, you know, the idea that nobody can say anything remotely non-positive about you without being hung out to dry. Say what you bloody want about me or my videos. I'm not going to hang you out to dry on Twitter or anywhere else. I'll probably agree with you. You know, I've been told on more than one occasion that my videos are absolute shit, and I would totally agree. You know, the odd one is getting a little bit better now, but generally they're appalling. And I've been criticised for, well, I've been criticised for all sorts of things. And in fairness, I think all of the criticisms were absolutely just. Including the one that said that I was an arrogant fat arsehole. I would agree with all of those things. I'm very definitely an arsehole. I'm very definitely arrogant, and I'm absolutely fat. So, yeah, go ahead. Matt says, I went on the fair ride, the Sky Swing. It's 200 feet high. I hate heights, but I ended up going on 5 times. God, you must be mad. I couldn't do that now. Oh, this is interesting. I used to glaze high-rise buildings on the outside in a little box suspended from wires. 72 stories was the highest. That gave me the collywobbles. Well, it bloody would. If you want to get the collywobbles now as an older person like me, just watch any Fred Dibner video. Christ, just watching them is enough to give you the collywobbles, never mind doing it yourself. That man had no fear. The worst bridge when it is windy and you are in a lorry is the Dartford Crossing. Now, I have been over that, but I don't remember anything specific about it. I can't remember. Where would I have been going to have gone over the Dartford Crossing? I can't remember. Was it? Would I have gone over that to get to Gatwick? I can't remember. I know I've been over it. Should you tell them if you're not content with their content? I like spraying my washers when I go through a tunnel like the Dartford one, just to unnerve the cars behind when the drops hit their windscreens. That's brilliant. Baxenden Carbreaker is a very good YouTube channel. Oh, there we are. I'm just wondering why Miss Hubnut thought this was her fight. I've got no idea. No idea at all. Pass. You could bring the caravan to Dundalk, Boaty, says D-Mac. That's a lovely idea, actually. That is a lovely idea. I stayed at a very interesting hotel in Dundalk. I bet you'll know, you must know it, D-Mac. Now, my favourite place to stay in Dundalk was the Crown Plaza. I was quite fond of that. But on one occasion, I can't remember why, I think we were there for a bit longer, and Mrs. Boaty, I think Mrs. Boaty was paying because it was a family duty type thing, and she wanted to do it a bit cheaper. And she booked us into this hotel that had a fearsome, I can't remember what it was called, D-Mac, but I'm sure you will know. And it was famous because of the owner, who was like Basil Fawlty on steroids. And he had this incredible reputation for bawling out the guests, and particularly for his replies to bad reviews. And oh God, that was a memorable stay. The first room that they put us in was, I mean, you know, all right, I'm a bit of a snob, but I can slum it with the best of them. But this was beyond the pale. I mean, nobody had the right to charge for this. There was no hot water. Things were falling up. Oh, it was terrible, absolutely terrible. And I said to Mags, I said, darling, no, just no. Pack your bags. We'll go to the Crown Plaza. I'll pay. We're not staying here. And she said, hold on. Contacted the reception and said, look, you know, this room is just substandard. We're not prepared to stay here. And they moved us to a room in the new bit, which was perfectly acceptable, perfectly okay. So we stayed there. And we discovered that the owner used to like singing in the bar, and he was fucking awful. Oh, hold on. He was absolutely dreadful. And you were strictly not allowed to take external food into the hotel. And often my Mrs. Boaty and I, when we were away, we didn't always eat out. Sometimes we'd like to get a takeaway and take it back to the hotel room. I think I've told you before, when we stayed at the super posh hotel at Monte Agueldo in San Sebastian, on the final night we'd get a dirty kebab from a shop in the back streets and take it into the hotel room and eat it in bed, on this beautiful bed with these amazingly expensive sheets. And that can be great fun. But you weren't allowed to take food into this hotel, and they had security on the door checking you for food when you went into the hotel. So we saw this as a bloody challenge, didn't we? So we went to the Chinese takeaway, the one in Black Rock actually, the Chinese restaurant in Black Rock, because we were very fond of that. And we were determined that we were going to smuggle it into this hotel. So I went into the hotel and went into our room. Mrs. Boaty, like a burglar in the night, slipped round the side to where our window was, handed the food in through the window. Then she went into the hotel, you know, patted down by security up against the wall. Got any food on you? And we got away with it, and we hid all of the evidence. And just to prove a point, we did it every night. We'd only do it normally 1 or 2 nights in a week because we'd be eating out, but just to prove a point, we did it every bloody night. But that was a memorable hotel. You know, there were warnings of, like, there was a fire door, and it said something like, this is a fire exit. If you open this fire exit improperly without proper cause or something, then you'll be shot and thrown out and pillaged and raped. And it was a mad place. Never stayed there again. But it was one of those places that you were glad to experience once. You must know the place that I mean. Is it still there? I'd love to know. I think if a YouTuber you watch puts a vid on, you should like and give a comment. Well, why not? Your videos are so crap, they're good. I'll take that. I'll take that. And I won't disagree with you. It's like that one from last night. I mean, that was bloody awful, but it's hilarious. Yeah, there is. Fred Dimner's a legend, absolutely. Have you seen the 1973 Exorcist, and what do you think? No, I haven't. Oh, Dundalk is rebuilt now. Gosh, is it? A PayPal's still in Dundalk. They built a headquarters just on the outskirts, on the way in, didn't they, heading towards the Crown Plaza. I'd love to come back. I was very fond of Dundalk and the surrounding areas. I would like to. I'd never been to Ireland until I married an Irish woman. And I haven't been since I divorced an Irish woman. A Brit called Wilfred. But do you know, what's that hotel called? I'll look it up. I'll look it up afterwards. I'll find it. And it's quite a big hotel. And they got an article in one of the big Irish newspapers, and it was called, no, I can't pronounce the word. What's the word for welcome in Gaelic? Is it failty? Something like that? I don't know how you pronounce it. I think it's F-A-I-L-T-E. And they got this they got an article in one of the big Irish newspapers, and the headline was Faulty Towers, you know, play off on Faulty Towers. And there were all of these snippings of the owner being absolutely vile to all of these guests. And rather than being ashamed, the owner of this bloody hotel framed it and put it up on the wall in his hotel. Yes, oh God, it was a hell of a place. The only hotel I've ever been to where security search you for food on the way in. Oh dear God. You meet some characters, don't you? Right. Well, Oh, was there something I was going to tell you about? And I've forgotten about it. No, there was definitely. I told you about Brian Jacks. I told you about the baked beans. Bog news. I was going to tell you about bog news, wasn't I? Of course I was. Right. I'm going to do a series of videos called Bog News. Bog stands for Boaty's onboard gramophones. I'm going to do some videos about the onboard gramophones in my cars. And I'm going to seek your help and your opinions. So I am, to be sure. Because I have some decisions to make. Oh, everybody's buggering off. You're welcome, KKC. Oh, it is that time, I suppose, isn't it? Okay, I'll wind this up. I'll just tell you very quickly. Bog news, I'm going to talk about the gramophones and some issues with them. Whether I should change the one in wet leg and what for. I did bid on that one I told you about on eBay, and I got outbid. There's the new MG one from a Chinese TF that Matt found that I haven't got the money for. But if I had the money, would I go for that? Would you consider doing the tribute videos, walking around the cemeteries? Yeah, absolutely. So I need to talk to you about wet legs. I need to talk to you about the gramophone in Stigba. Well, I won't go into it all because I'll do all of that in the videos, but that's what Bog News is going to be. The 1 month live DMAC, that's going to come after the one week live, and we were talking about that today. And the 1 month live I've got penciled in, so it ends on the summer solstice. So we'd need to. So I'd start it a month before the summer solstice. God, can you imagine a 1 month live? What the hell? What the hell? And then 24/7 for 20 years. Yeah. That'll be the death cam, won't it? I'll just start a live and say, look, it finishes when I keel over. At least I wouldn't go to say, where's my father? At least I'd be found, wouldn't I? Somebody would watch the footage where I just went like that, and you didn't see me get back up, and the glass of wine went undrunk. That's actually a really good idea. Over a certain age, everybody should have to do a permanent YouTube live. So when you drop off the twig, your nearest and dearest will know all about it. But yeah. Okay, right, well, I've enjoyed tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you, or talk at you. And 17 of you are very good to hang about until, I've picked up another subscriber or two. That's nice. I've just noticed that I'm on 2.26 now. That's lovely. So yeah, let's call it a night, my love, shall we? Let's say our good nights. We've always got tomorrow, haven't we? Of course we have. So it's been good fun, hasn't it? Well, there we are. So yeah, let's say our good nights and let's wend our weary way to bed. I'm looking forward to some supper. Thank you to everybody who's later, Mr. Crap YouTube Maker. Yeah, Dundalk Memories, DMAC. Where do you live, DMAC, then? Do you live in Dundalk, or did you live in Dundalk? Or do you just visit Dundalk for some reason? Let me know. If not now, then in the next one. But yeah, thank you to everybody who's been watching my crap videos lately. Don't worry, there'll be more shit to come. There's more crap where this came from. I have an inexhaustible supply of crap and nonsense. But cheers to you all. Hope you all had a great weekend. Hope you had a decent Monday. And let's hope we all have a good week ahead, eh? Um, I'm off to get wedded into the rest of my frozen wine. Oh, which is now nicely unfrozen and is at the perfect quaffing temperature. So it's all good. Publish more crap daily. I will do nothing less. You can't beat a daily crap, can you? Be careful what you wish for. Oh, did you, Jimmy? I knew I've got something of yours now to look. If anybody sent me a message or a thing and I haven't replied, I'm really sorry. Don't take it personally. I'm crap. I'm crap at replying to things. I'm lousy at answering the phone. I'm lousy at replying to texts. And I'm lousy at replying to messages. And I miss things. I'll hear a ping or I'll see something crick up, a brick called Wilfred, or I'll see something pop up. I'm going to keep using that. I reckon I can build a successful YouTube career just through a brick called Wilfred and Mr. George Roger Boaty. It's absolutely bizarre. You should call me Mr. Crap. It's absolutely bizarre that I produced my most successful video, which is an absolutely deliberately awful piss take. And it went viral for 40 minutes. So now I'm torn between actually trying to improve so that whilst none of my videos are good, some of them are very slightly, arguably less crap, or just continuing to put crap like that out and seeing if it actually works. There's probably a happy line to draw somewhere in the middle, isn't there? So, it's been absolutely wonderful, my loves. I will see you tomorrow night at, it's Tuesday tomorrow, isn't it? So, Mustard will be doing his live at 10. Do enjoy it, do support him, and I will see you. I don't know what time I'll be on, but I'll be tuned into Mustard as always. I'm really enjoying his lives now, and I will be. Oh, there's a message just popped in. Let's just have a quick read of that. I know it was. I know, and if I'd have done the proper video that I was actually planning to, then there's a 5-minute argument about the breeze block against brick thing, because I don't know what the bloody hell it is. And Mustard was doing this really annoying thing of saying it's actually a breeze block, it's not a brick. And then I re-recorded it. I've got another recording of a breeze block called Wilfred. And then he said, no, I'm only kidding, it is actually a brick. And he just kept going back and forwards, making me record it over and over again. So in the end, I just went with brick. I know it's probably wrong, and a few people have pointed out that it is a breeze block. But I had to get rid of all of that because I was editing the video properly. It was supposed to be a proper video with a long, boring intro, as mine normally have, leading into the smooth driving challenge. And I just got the idea when I was editing it of doing the piss take mustard video, which I did, and I'm saving the smooth driving challenge for some other time, which will probably be quite soon, because I haven't got time to tell you why, but I can't use everything that we videoed today. I can't use hardly any of it, unfortunately. My fault for not thinking things through, but I'll explain all about that tomorrow, because you guys want to get off, don't you? So you have a safe and peaceful night. You take care. Have a great day tomorrow, and I will see you both during and after Mustard's live. Now, what should we play you out with? I tell you what. Oh no, not that one. Go away. Go away. We don't want that. We want a happy one to play out on. And where is it? Where is it? Here you go. Here we go. You know you love it. Good night, my lovelies. Thank you very much. Oh, Roger Boaty's back. Roger Boaty's back just in time for the farting. The wine's gone back in the freezer. I just want to maintain just that perfect. Cheers, darlings. Sleep tight. Have a fabulous day tomorrow. Thank you for your company. Stay safe, stay warm, take care. Catch you later. First time I'm getting the hang of this.